Hi, everyone. Welcome back to today's NITA Connections. I just lost my script, so hold on. Okay, so today I'm joined by Karen Samuels, a licensed psychologist in Ormond Beach, Florida. We will be talking about eating disorders in midlife and beyond and addressing some of the challenges this population faces amidst COVID-19. Before we get started, I will share Karen's bio with you all. So Karen's career has been dedicated to empowering women and other forgotten populations through her community involvement, psychotherapy practice, publications, workshops, trainings, and consultation. She is the founder and president of COPE, Community Outreach to Prevent Eating Disorders, a nonprofit since 2001, which is also a NITA network organization as well. She is a consultant to Halifax Family Medicine Residency Program, training physicians in interprofessional eating disorder treatment teams. She is also an affiliate and contributor to the Jean Baker Miller Training Institute, Wellesley Center for Women, Wellesley College. Oh, you are so impressive, Karen. Utilizing relational therapy theory, RCT. She spearheaded media literacy program for middle schools in 2 school districts, as well as conducted eating disorder recovery groups with midlife women. She has published widely, presents at national conferences, and can be found on podcasts, tweet chats, and Huffington Post Live, highlighting eating disorders and related concerns. A lifelong yogi, she has served as the resident psychologist and body image specialist, promoting size acceptance and diversity with online videos and blogs on the yoga and wellness platform 108.com. Dr. Samuels received the 2014 National Eating Disorders Association Weston Family Award for activism and advocacy in recognition of her community and social justice work. So, hi, Karen. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join us for NITA Connections. As we know, eating disorders don't discriminate based on age, among other demographics. However, mainstream media and even mainstream conversations within the eating disorder field often neglect, older populations. So I've had the pleasure of hearing you speak about this important topic at conferences, and I'm so glad that you can join us today. I think it's really important. So I just wanted to open it up to you to talk a little bit about your work with this population and some unique challenges that these folks face, especially while everyone is social distancing and staying at home during this pandemic.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me, for inviting me. And, our local nonprofit, COPE, has been affiliated with NITA since our inception and have had numerous national eating disorder awareness events, from yard sales to beach walks to being sponsors and participants in NITA walks in recent years in Central Florida. So, I have always applauded and admired and been inspired by the work of NITA, and think that you're doing this right now is just, again, reaching out to people across the globe, because we're all trying to figure out how to do this. And social distancing, I know you've already been talking about it, and I've seen it on virtually every related body image and eating disorder awareness outreach, social media, which is eating disorders thrive in isolation. I always think of eating disorders or disorders of isolation and disconnection, and also that eating disorders do not discriminate. And we use, we're saying eating disorders, but it's eating disorders, disordered eating, struggles in your relationship with feeding yourself, living in a body in this current time and culture, and then living in a culture where everyone's anxiety is amplified to an unprecedented amount. And so when we think about that they thrive in isolation, we must find ways to stay connected and supportive to one another so that we can help each other through this time, because we will get through this time, but connection is vital. One of my mantras is isolation is the glue that holds Ed in place, and that connections heal. So one of the things that drew me to, well, many things, I've worked in the field of eating disorders over 30 years, is as I've gotten older, I've found more and more women sought a safe place. Women and men have sought a safe place to come and get help as they've crossed the various key life passages. And that, to my surprise, over the last 15 years, more and more women at midlife and beyond were seeking help and were coming to me and saying, I've never told anyone. I've never actually had a doctor ask me. But yes, I've been suffering since I was a girl or a teen, and it's teenager, and it's taken different forms. And invariably, what older adults with still struggling will say is, when I was young, I just always thought, well, it won't still be there. I can handle it. It'll just fade with time, and that to their astonishment, as they've hit different life passages, especially for women at midlife with perimenopause and menopause, they found that they were suddenly finding their eating disorder struggles reactivated or reemerging in some different ways. So we see, and one of the things that I've done a lot of work with one of the key icons in the field and NIDA founder, Dr. Margot Main, and we have presented many times together and published many times together. Eating disorders do not discriminate, but most of all in this context, age does not protect or immunize people across the lifespan from suffering and struggling still with how to be in their bodies and survive and recover. It is possible to recover at any age and stage. So right now, what I hope someone is hearing is that you are not alone and that increasingly we know you need our support. And today especially, that you're probably taking care of your kids and worried about and trying to take care of your parents, and in that sandwich generation trying to figure out, how do I take care of me when I'm also taking care of the older generation and the younger generation, and also figure out how to just survive this period of self-distancing, social distancing. And I just want to also throw in two more key points, and I hope then we can open it up to questions. In a study a couple years ago, it was found that over 15.3% of midlife women have struggled with eating disorders of some kind. And they look different as we get older. And that, contrary to the fear-mongering of the diet industry, as we age, being in larger body is actually protective of health and promotes longevity. But boy, when you have been living at war with your body for decades, it's hard to believe, it's hard to mentally adjust that it's okay to let your body change across the lifespan. It actually will serve your life for the long haul and will promote longevity, longer life expectancy.
I hope
So
people at home
I
are
didn't
listening to that. That's really important to know. Yeah, definitely. So why do you think there's more and more like cases of um, women or men or non-binary folks in midlife that are coming forward or getting diagnosed with eating disorders? Do you think that the trend is actually moving upward, or do you think there's more recognition and less taboo about the topic now? I'm curious to hear your take on that.
All of the above. I think that one of the things research is showing us, and there's been very little research, almost none, in terms of treatment efficacy, is that the entrance and the exit of our reproductive years seem to be a window of vulnerability. So we see as we come into puberty, which is when the onset for many people, and where the focus often is in young people with the onset of disordered eating and eating disorders, that we also see at midlife these transitions affect all systems, and that so in some ways it's all of the above. There's more recognition, there's more treatment, there's more access to treatment. I hope that the more we're talking about it, the more it removes the stigma. So people that as they age are willing to get help. But we also see biological factors like hormonal changes as we age, then that can reactivate underlying eating disorders that maybe have been subacute or even recovered get reactivated. And one of the other things I always say is the anxiety has to go somewhere. So given how stressful life is at some of these key, like right now, people find
Exactly.
themselves activated, and Ed is just eager for that opportunity to leap in and say, choose me, I'll help. Not true. But I think that it actually then is an old familiar way of trying to cope with unbelievable stress.
Yeah. So what do we do about it, especially during this time, and especially for, folks in midlife that are also worrying about children and their parents maybe and working from home and, all the various factors that makes it even harder to really practice that self-care.
Well, I have been working 100% virtually for the last week. And, one of the key things I've had lots of people in their 50s say to me is, oh my gosh, my fear is amplified because I cannot get sick. Other people are counting on me. And so that becomes like the door, the opening, which is right. You can't afford to get sick. So you have to feed yourself. You have to be okay with how you're feeding yourself. You have to, I was talking to someone earlier this week about ask your body, how can I be kind to you? It's really important to pause. The whole planet, the whole globe is pausing right now. It's okay to ask your body, how can I be kind to me? How can I take care of me? Is how, when Ed is raging in your head, are you being your kindest self to yourself? And so, right, you feel that clash of, I have so many people I can't afford to get sick. I have people I have to take care of. Oh, me too.
Okay,
Not,
okay, you're one of those
charity
people to
begins.
take care of. Yeah. Well, thank you. Let me take a look and see if there are any questions on the video right now. Okay. Um, please hold. Technical challenges.
Okay. I'm right here.
So let's see. So, um, yeah, we just had someone commenting about somebody else that's a midlife eating disorder recovery speaker as well. So that's great to hear that there's some other voices out there. Well, since we don't have any other questions coming through live, I was wondering if there's anything else that you wanted to add in closing. I think you brought up some really great points that are pertinent to that community of folks in midlife and above, and also at any age, right? Being kind to yourself is an important message always, no matter your age, race, gender, etc. So,
So I was talking to someone this morning who, has high anxiety, and they were saying, I'm meditating 3 times a day. Is that too much? Whatever I have to do. And I was like, breathe, breathe. You cannot pause and breathe. Do the things that help center and ground you. You cannot do it too much right now. What I think, if it's possible, connect with the natural world. Every morning I like to take my cup of coffee and go out on my porch, and I've been watching the birds. They've been particularly loud and noisy and industrious right now this springtime, and the birds are not worried. They're not worried about getting sick. They're just busy doing what they do. So whatever the things like that to me just touches me and reminds me the natural order of things are continuing. If we take care of ourselves, so will we. And that if it's listening to music, if it's watching something that makes you laugh out loud, um, mindless TV, hysterical meme that you've watched. Oh, there's some great animal memes that I've seen that I've been sharing that get us through. Share it with the people. Reach out and touch someone. Stay connected. You can't do that too much right now. And no doubt, whoever you reach out to is going to be grateful that you were thinking of them. And it's okay to receive their care back to you in kind. Because I think one of the things that's hardest for people who are seeking recovery is to receive care from others and for themselves. So that mutual care, compassion, support, understanding. Go for a walk if you're able-bodied. Enjoy the sunshine, the fresh air, some movement, yoga, whatever speaks to you, just make a point in your routine every day to be kind and take care of yourself and your body.
Karen, you're such a gift to this field and to the world. And I've really, really enjoyed this conversation and just hearing your peaceful nature. And I hope other people are finding some sense of comfort watching this as well. So thank you so much. Um,
Ah.
we have time for one question. And someone asked, do you know if there's any eating disorder programs that are specifically developed or geared towards middle-aged women?
Oh, my favorite question. No, I'm laughing. I'm sorry, because it's such a pertinent and important question. Um, there are not specifically dedicated programs. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. The
Shoot.
video went blank for
Okay.
a second, but it
Okay.
happened earlier
There
and
are,
then popped
it will
back.
come back. There are no dedicated midlife and older eating disorder programs, and it is so crucial. When women and older adults go to treatment, unfortunately, they often fall into that caretaker role and are taking care of the younger ones and
Mm,
are, do the same thing in treatment. Some of the treatment centers will have an adult track, but that's usually over 30. So if you're over 50 or 60, over 30 is a whole different generation than in your 50s or 60s and what it took to get into treatment. So it is such a great question because it is sort of my passion and some other dear friends and colleagues that we are constantly appealing to the treatment centers. Let us help you. My call to action is I've been doing midlife groups, and I think the time has come. This period has turned us all into a virtual, beloved, connected community. So I think it's time we start some midlife virtual recovery groups so that you don't have to just be in my part of Florida, that maybe we need to take the leap going forward and create some midlife recovery groups as virtual therapy for people, because if the treatment centers aren't going to build it, I always say if we build it, the need is there, they will come. So thank you for the
absolutely.
reminder.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, and that would be a really useful resource, I believe. So, well, thank you. Ooh, hold on, okay. So thank you again for joining us for today's Zeta Connections. Again, your time and insight is so greatly appreciated. And for those of you watching at home, we'll be closing out the week tomorrow with Anita Connections about remote volunteer opportunities with Nita. So in the meantime, if you or someone you know is struggling with an eating disorder or in need of help, please don't hesitate to contact our toll-free and confidential helpline for support, resources, and treatment options, whether it's for you or for a loved one. So our helpline hours are Monday to Thursday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern and Friday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. And our helpline chat hours are Monday to Thursday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern and Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. Our helpline volunteers are trained to help you find the information and support you're looking for, and you will learn more tomorrow about volunteering remotely for our helpline and other programs and services. So thanks again, Karen, and thank you to those that are watching at home, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. Everyone be safe and well.
Absolutely. Thank you.